man.
I change your bum life. You fight me, it's a celebration.
I will beat you.
When you sign to fight me, it's a celebration. You ring back home, you ring your wife. Baby, we done it. We're rich, baby. Conor McGregor made us rich. Break out the red
team.
panties.
Let's get it all.
Yo, welcome back to the MMA Short Show. As always, your boy, Steven Moustaris. And guys, I just got done talking about Ian Machado Gary, and is he actually the future, like his nickname says, or is he just a Conor McGregor wannabe, Conor McGregor 2.0? And, I want you guys to, go watch that and, let me know what you guys think about it for real, because I think he's very, very talented, but it just kind of scary a little bit how it's maybe not his fault, but, he is from Ireland, and it seems like he's dropping a lot of Conor lines. So, you guys can definitely let me know there, but I honestly think the two big storylines that really stuck out to me this past fight night, and it's I don't know if it's the UFC's fault, kind of just booking fight nights just to kind of have fillers or whatnot, or if it's really just the case that's happening currently. But it's just how sad the light heavyweight and heavyweight divisions are currently, man. Like especially when we go to light heavyweight, like. When we talk about when you guys think of some of the most classic, some of the most vintage, some of the, the greatest fighters that we've ever seen in UFC history, a lot of it starts with 205, man. 205 was that division for years and years and years and years and years and years and years. And like, if we can go back to the Chuck Liddell days, the Rampage Jacksons, the Wanderlei Silvas, the Lyoto Machidas, the Shogun who was the Forrest Griffins. We can name them for years and years and years. And then like the next group kind of came in, I guess where Forrest kind of started that, but like Rashad Evans was in there, fucking, Gus, John Jones, the like I said, Lyoto Machida, Shogun who, Dan Henderson's, all these guys that I've already named. I can go on. There's so many names out there, and then you got the John Jones, Rumbles, DCs, Gustafsons. You had so many people that fought, and then they even had a little sprinkle in there of like Chael Sonnen at least coming in and talking his shit, even though he was terrible at 205 still. He was as funny as it is now, it's like he was probably more marketable then than any of these 205ers are now. And it's like, don't get me wrong, I feel like 205 finally for the first time in years, like don't get me wrong, it was cool to see Glover win and everything, but him and Yuri had a fucking classic, and then him and Jamal Hill had a classic. So like these fights were amazing and everything, but finally to have Jamal Hill versus Yuri Prochazka is like finally that big fight feel at 205 that we haven't felt since almost like the Dom Reyes versus probably John Jones days, or John Jones versus Gus. Like it's been that long, and like 2017 I think is when the second Gus versus Jones fight was. So. And then now it's like, man, I'm sitting here watching a guy like Johnny Walker and, Anthony Smith fight in a co-main event. Maybe one of the most boring fights I've ever seen. And no offense to either of the guys. It just sucks. Anthony Smith started getting that leg started to get hurt a little bit. And, it was that weird moment there in the second where Anthony, like they weren't fighting for like a minute and a half. They were yelling at each other. Something about Anthony was like, oh, you've been talking about my family. And you can clearly see Johnny Walker. I'm like, what, dude? And then I thought Johnny had him on the ropes. It looked like Anthony Smith was ready to get out of there the whole last 2-3 minutes of the final round. And, Johnny Walker kind of was just walking him down is kind of like, just like, oh no, I already got this victory. I'm kind of just making it hell for you. And, and then earlier you got Carlos Oberg get the win. And it's just tough right now. Cause like even when Jamal Hill and Yuri fight, which is I'm fucking ecstatic for, it's one of the coolest fights we've had at 205 in forever, but one of them have to win and the other one's going to have to lose. And it's just tough sledding. Like, what is there after that? You know what I'm saying? Like, for me personally, like, we got the guys like the Magomed Ankalaev. I think he's a dog, but we've just saw him in the Jan fight. It's gonna take 2 or 3 fights for them, exciting fights to kind of win the fans back. We kind of think they're boring. We got all these guys in here that are long in the tooth that have been there forever, like Oezdemir. Nobody, no offense to Volkan Oezdemir or whatever, but who's trying to watch him fight anymore? You know what I'm saying? Like, not to be mean. But then, like the Ryan Spans, I was there pretty excited there for a while with like the Nikita Krylov and, the Alexander Rakic, but, Rakic got hurt not too long ago and hasn't been around him for a while. And then fucking Nikita Krylov can get out here and do his thing. But like him and Ryan Spann both just fought each other. And those guys are kind of like next up and comers. But it's just like when I'm looking at the 205 division, man, it sucks because MMA in general it's expanding, it's evolving, it's going so fast, and it's literally becoming the fastest growing sport in the world. We're seeing new techniques all the time. The guys that we're watching now that are fighting would run laps around the guys we watched 5 years ago, let alone 10, 15, 20 years ago. And it just sucks because we're seeing it with like the 125, 135, 145, 155, 170, 185. Like all of these weight classes are stacked to the gills, man. Any guy in the top 20 can beat any guy in the top 5 if it really came down to it. If they fought 10 times out of 10, that guy in the top 20, or 18 ranked could probably win a couple times. That's how good these guys are nowadays. But when it comes to 205 and 225 plus the heavyweight, I just don't know what's going on, man. It feels like it's like almost digressing a little bit. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's, John Jones leaving all of our favorite guys, and maybe we did just get lucky there for a couple of years and we didn't realize how lucky we were with how stacked this division was. But it's like now, man, it's tough to be a fan of these guys. Like I know Alex Pereira is coming back into he's coming up to 205, but like I'm not that excited for it, if we're being honest. Like I still think, he's got a couple like matchups that work well with him, but like in the game of MMA and what he's proven so far, dude hasn't even fought a grappler yet. You know what I'm saying? So like I don't think we should be calling for him to get a title shot anytime soon. But I get it. He's an ex-champ, and the UFC is going to push him because if he loses to a guy like Jimmy Crude or somebody that's not even ranked, like it's not going to look good for him. So, it's just tough right now, man. It is really tough. Like if we look down the line, like I said, Jamal Hill Yuri is amazing, but like we got guys like Carlos Olberg, cool. He's, up and comer. He's not the most well-rounded. Good striker, I guess, can get you decently far in 205, but, we'll see with him. Yeah, has been looking good recently. But then we got guys like Dominic Reyes who completely just mentally gone anymore. Like his game is just, like, I hope I'm wrong. Hopefully he comes back and strong as ever. But, ever since the John Jones fight, we've seen how bad it's been for him. And, to get knocked out by Ryan Spann with a jab, like it was a just nasty jab. Like, I don't know. I feel like Oezdemir, like I said, is in the same boat. We have the Ryan Spann's kind of coming off his little thing where it's like we've seen him, drop fights, win fights, drop fights, win fights, and then he finally got a couple knockouts there in a row. But still, like the dude just started training a couple months ago or a couple fights ago. He said he was never training and never taking it serious. So like, you're not going to get in the top 5 with that. You know what I'm saying? We got the guys like the Anthony Smith quitting. It seems like he's quitting halfway. We've seen him get his shots. And it's just tough, man. I just don't know what's next there. Hopefully we're going to have some, guys come up, hopefully we can get some new fresh guys coming in that are going to be cool. But like, I'm just saying the future for light heavyweight and heavyweight in general, I just don't think it's looking the greatest, man. And if you're the UFC right now, it's like, yeah, you're really holding on to this Hill Yuri fight, but like, you're kind of hoping it's one of them like barn burners where it's like, we get a trilogy out of it, but it's almost been feeling like that has been happening too much. Ever since Jan took over, and even his fight with Izzy, outside of his fight with Glover where he lost, but like Glover's fights that they've had, like the last couple of title fights that we've seen have been way too close. Even the Jan, Magomed Ankalaev fight, all these fights are way too close, and they're almost calling for trilogy. So the UFC, I think they could really work out well if they can get Yuri and Jamal Hill somehow to get that trilogy. But outside of that, like, do we want to see Jamal Hill versus Nikita Krylov? No. Do you want to see Yuri Prochazka versus Magomed Ankalaev? Like, I mean, I'll watch it, but do I want to see it? Like, it's getting tough, guys. I just don't know what the UFC is going to. Clearly, they're not going to get rid of 205 or not. They can never do that. There's too many highlight reel knockouts and stuff that happen. But when we're talking like actually like a household name right now, and the same at heavyweight, like we just don't have it currently. And the heavyweight might be a little better off when it comes to like their top 5 guys, but at 205, man, it's scary right now. It's scary dry. So I don't know what you guys are thinking. It was pretty tough to watch Anthony Smith fight. He's calling for a title fight after a win against Johnny Walker. And then we got Johnny Walker getting wins all of a sudden when it's like, do we watch Johnny Walker just get, make some of the dumbest mistakes in his life when it comes to fighting? Like almost a lot like as funny as it is, I always think of Johnny Walker, like if I had to like compare him to another guy in another sport, another athlete, he kind of reminds me like a JaVale McGee. You know what I'm saying? He's got the talent, he's got the athleticism, but he's just that tall, lengthy, and like kind of plays like dumb. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know how to explain without being an asshole, but we've seen him make stupid mistakes. We see him, every time he gets a little bit of like, even the times that he wins and he tries to do the worm, blows out his shoulder for a couple months, like really set him back. Like, it's just these things that happen to him, and it's with everybody. And every time we get somebody to come up like a Dominic Reyes or the Ryan Spann or something, they get knocked out. So, or even like a Magomed Ankalaev, like, yeah, he's very talented and probably could become champion, but I mean, to the household name, like, or to the average person, he's never going to be a household name. He's going to be, a leg humper, a guy that goes for decision. So unless he changes his game, but I don't know, guys. I don't know what you guys are feeling about light heavyweight. It's getting grim, man. It's getting scary out here, and it's been scary for a while, but I guess at least we have this title fight we can look forward to. So, as always, your boy, Steven Moustaris. Let's go, baby.